So, Will, I'm going to go ahead and let you do your speak. And then if is the person from the city homeless on? Do we know?
If you are, could you raise your virtual hand? Okay, Serafina, yes.
Okay, great.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and start. Good evening, everyone. A few notes for you if this is your first meeting with us. You'll notice that you're muted and unable to mute yourself. The chair may call on members of the public who wish to speak. You can ask to be recognized by raising your virtual hand. You can do that by going to the reactions button at the bottom of your screen and selecting raise hand. If you're on a phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9 or *6 to unmute. And once you're recognized by the co-chair or the chair in this instance, I will unmute you. You may be prompted to confirm unmuting on your device, so keep a lookout for that. If you are using an older version of Zoom, you can access the raise hand feature by clicking the participants button on the menu at the bottom of your screen and selecting raise hand. And the chat function is available for technical support only, not to ask questions of the chair. You can send me a chat if you're having any trouble, and I can walk you through any issues you may be having. And with that, I'll pass it over to you, Lynn.
Thank you so much, Saida. And what I'd like to do very quickly is we've got a couple of groups that have some other important things going on tonight, and I need to adjust to my agenda a little bit. So we have Serafina, and if you could unmute her, and I'll let you, Serafina, tell us exactly what your title is. So we're going to start with her. She represents a homeless group in the city, and we're going to then go to Aisha, I believe it's correct. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, who is part of the State Commission on Redistricting, and she's going to talk about the redistricting map. And we'll go, so if I can go ahead and have her, Serafina, unmuted.
She's unmuted. Go ahead. Hi.
Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate the opportunity. My name is Serafina Payne. I am the Community Affairs Coordinator for the Manhattan Outreach Consortium. So I can kind of start by talking a little bit about what the consortium is and the work that we do. So the Manhattan Outreach Consortium, also known as MOC, is a contract that we hold with the city, and it is subcontracted through several nonprofits in Manhattan that provide all the street outreach from top to bottom, and including Roosevelt Island street outreach. So the MOC outreach teams canvass the borough 24/7, 365 days a year, rain or shine. We are out there offering assistance, shelter, and social services to individuals experiencing homelessness. I'll add that the individuals that we target and are often working with are those who are chronically homeless and oftentimes are challenged with higher rates of mental health issues, substance use challenges, medical difficulties, and other vulnerabilities that make them higher risk. And so these are the folks that we target with our outreach, including anybody who we suspect to be homeless or tell us that they're homeless. We are offering services to them as well. But with those that are chronically entrenched with homeless individuals, we find that it takes them more time to come inside, and this will often take hundreds of contacts from our teams. And so what that really involves is creating trust and relationships with them with the goal of them ultimately accepting services. So what we're doing is we're actively engaging all the street homeless individuals we engage in the street, offering immediate services, creating these relationships and connections, and with the ultimate goal of bringing them inside. And so oftentimes we get questions around like, what can the community be doing to inform us about these individuals? How can they get in contact with us? And oftentimes we get a lot of our notifications from the community through the 311 system and service requests. And this is really easy. I think most individuals or folks here might be familiar with 311. You can submit a ticket to us through the app or by calling and just notifying us of where the person is, a description, and we'll have a team go out there to engage them and canvass the area within about an hour of us receiving the notification. And oftentimes, that person may say no in the moment, or we may go there and they're not there, but we strongly encourage folks to continue utilizing the 311 system. And I'm happy to also leave my email here for folks. If there's somebody that you're seeing in a certain place or a certain block or area chronically, feel free to reach out to me, and we'd be happy to go out and see if we can create that connection and engage them in services. I'm happy to take any questions from anybody regarding locations or services, and any other questions that may have come up.
Well, one of the reasons why we invited you, Serafina, is that Roosevelt Island has a very compassionate community. And one of the things that I've seen happening here with some of the people that are chronically homeless is that people here on the island will buy them food, will do their laundry, will bring them clothes, will try to bring them shoes. They're a very compassionate community, and my concern is that doesn't help their situation. It just kind of prolongs them being on the street, and particularly with the weather starting to get cold, I just wanted them to have an understanding of, aside from dealing with and Officer Amorosa is going to talk about what they do specifically on Roosevelt Island in a minute, but that identifying them, getting them into the system as somebody that is a chronic person here, maybe we can help facilitate them getting a more long-term solution.
And that is, I think, a common thing we see with communities, because I think you want to offer help for individuals that you see that are in need, and you want to extend a helping hand. But oftentimes, that might mean that they're not being connected to us because either they're receiving services that are okay for the time being, whether it means that they're getting the clothing that they need, whether it means that they kind of have shelter or food. And it is a short-term solution to a long-term issue that we want to help that person resolve. So in those situations, I think, it's great that community members have connections with individuals who may be homeless, but I think what we always suggest is connecting them with us and making sure that they are known to us, and whether it be the homeless outreach or your local precinct, who often will communicate with the DHS system as well, making sure that we're aware of them so that we can start that engagement process as well. Because ultimately, those short-term solutions won't really get them housing, and that's really the long-term and the main focus of the work that we do.
So I know that you've got to run to a town hall, and I really appreciate you taking the time to stop and come in and talk with us today. So rather than put it up for questions, what I'm going to do is have you give us your email address, and I'll have Saida put it in the chat so that way people can contact you after this meeting. And then you can, run off to your, because I don't want you to get bogged down here with questions when I know you have something else to do. And we really appreciate you took the time to come in tonight. So thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. Happy to help, and also happy to continue this conversation offline. And if there are people that would be better suited to have maybe like a longer, more in-depth conversation, or if there are issues that you would it'd be best to continue offline, I think that I would be more than happy to do so. But I'm going to drop my email very quickly into the chat.
Now I see one hand up. Is this a quick question that you have?
No, Leilani is actually from the Department of Homeless Services.
Oh, okay. If you could unmute her, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just unmuted. I was trying to chime in earlier, but couldn't unmute myself. Just wanted to introduce myself and just let folks know that someone from the Department of Homeless Services was present. Like Serafina, we're juggling a town hall meeting in this one. But just want to also share my information in the chat as well for those who may have had some questions or concerns.
Well, thank you so much. I didn't realize you were joining us also. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Time to come. Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Was there
Sure,
anything that you wanted to add that?
No, I just would message, as I do to every community board, is the importance of utilizing 311 as a metrics tracking system. That is a tool that the outreach teams and the agency really looks to when we are operating in what we call code blue, which is whenever it's 30 degrees below wind chill. Also is for when we are operating in code red in the summertime, which basically is when we go into emergency mode, where we have the outreach teams canvass and scout for vulnerable New Yorkers sleeping out on the street. We bring them into cooling stations in the summertime. In the wintertime, we bring them into what we call warming stations. The best tool to put those folks on our radar is 311. When you reach out to 311 within the hour, the outreach teams are dispatched. But it also tells a trend of time of day when folks are seeing people in a particular area. So it lets us know that we should be present maybe in the morning or in the afternoon or maybe in the evening. So, we pay attention to the time we're receiving these 311 flags. It also lets us know that there's maybe an uptick. Maybe this particular area that you guys flagged via 311 is becoming a hot spot, which signals to the outreach teams how frequent they may need to, canvass a particular area. So just it's something that we track. It's something that we pay very close attention to. And it's I think it's also an empowering tool as a community resident. It wasn't until I started this job that I realized there was an outreach team that goes out and does this amazing work. And it took a while for me myself to utilize the app. But when I started using the 311 app, I felt very empowered because I felt like I could help somebody in real time. So I know I jumped to the app, but there is an app, 311. And on the 311 app, it allows for you to request street homeless outreach support services. I think it should say homeless outreach request. You click that, the app will geometrically track and ping your location. And it'll allow you to just simply type in a description of the person. You don't necessarily have to, but it's really helpful for the teams to have as much descriptions as possible so that they can know who to look for, someone with a red shirt. And so in real time, it'll give you an update that, the teams have been dispatched, or the teams found the person or was unsuccessful with identifying the person. However, it is something that we look at, the app. It's a tool that we definitely encourage every New Yorker to utilize and to use. And me, myself, when I use it in the street, I feel as though I'm somewhat empowered, as if I'm helping somebody, because we are. So, it's just really helpful to put those folks on our radar. It's helpful for us to know as much descriptions that could be provided as possible in the app. And when someone like Will Bright or any of the elected officials on the call reaches out to me, usually it's helpful when they can cite a 311 ticket to me so that we can track the inquiry. So just singing the 311 gospel to you all, because it's a tool that we use, and also I think an empowering tool that the community can also use.
Absolutely. And I really want to thank you both again for joining us today. I'm concerned because the community is a very compassionate and empathetic community. And I just want us to have some ideas on how best to support some of these people that we're seeing that are making Roosevelt Island their home. So thank you, ladies, again. And I know you have to jump off to your town hall. Really appreciate you being here. And if you could, now is it Leandra?
Leilani Irvin.
I'm sorry.
I'm putting my info in the chat.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'm going to, with that, move our agenda on to our guest from the State
York.
Redistricting.
Yeah, let me, yeah. Thanks so much, Chair. So my name's Asia Badi. I am the Director of Public Outreach, Public Engagement for the New York Independent Redistricting Commission. Many of you may not have heard of us. I did come to your full board and do this presentation. I believe, I can't remember actually, maybe September, October. It's been a lot of community boards across the city. But unlike the census, the Independent Redistricting Commission does not have the full power and breadth of a federal bureau or the funding of a federal bureau. So we are funded by the state, and it's the first time this has happened. We're an independent commission, bipartisan. The commissioners are, 4 of them are appointed by the Democratic legislature and 4 by the Republican. The 4 Democrats select an independent, and the 4 Republicans select an independent. They make 10 commissioners who have extensive experience on political science, voting rights, communities, and they're really tasked with several things. One is to set out draft maps that were put out September 15th, and then ask for community feedback. We have had 14 public meetings across the state. We started in Buffalo, and we're going to Suffolk, Nassau next week, and ending last night was Queens. It ended at 9:30. And we were in Manhattan last week. So, and then we're asking folks for, their feedback and their comments on the map. So if you don't mind, if I can just share a screen, I'll show you our website. I think it's the fastest way.
And I did want to ask you a little bit, because I did go to the website, I did look at the maps, and I found it to be a little confusing. In fact, I was very confused, and I was able to kind of discriminate what was happening for our congressional district 12, and had some concerns about that, but that for the assembly district and our state senate district, I really was confused with those, with that.
So I can't speak to the maps, the commissioners do, and this is not one of our public forums, so we have to, and as you understand, it has any kind of discussion and part, but I will say to you, let me go through the website, and then there's several third-party sites you can use to look at together. So first of all of our meetings are listed here. As you can see, our 2 upcoming meetings, and then our previous meetings with all the archived video. I'd really encourage folks to look at the New York County video. I would say to you that you can see based on who spoke, there were fewer East Side people than there were West Side people. They were like, you'll see who came to speak, right? And what their comments were. And I think it's just always interesting to see what your neighbors are saying, or what your community is saying, and what their concerns are. And then the next piece I wanted to share is that we've actually made this round of public hearings, the submissions, to be public. So when you upload a comment, whether it's a public comment like here, a map that you submit, or testimony, it's actually available for the public to see. They'll only see your first name, and unless you choose to, like some people do, which I would strongly suggest you don't put your phone number in there. But people are being told that, like, I don't know why, they're just copying and pasting, I think, their documents. When you register on your website, on our website, we have your contact info, we have your email, like all that. So you don't really need to put that. But I think this is really interesting because you will see comments from across the street and where people are concerned and what their thoughts are. And how do you submit? You can send comments through here. And as you can see, we're asking folks to check what topics they're concerned about and what area and region, and they can either upload a file or write comments in here. They can submit a map in the same way. They can sign up to attend a meeting or send in testimony. I'm going to stop the share. So that is the website, and our task is, what I should mention is the final maps will be voted on by the commission and submitted to the legislature in January. So we're in a really tight timeline, partially because the funding was delayed by the state for us. So we really didn't get the commissioners were appointed about a year ago, but staff weren't started to be hired till July. I came on in July. And secondly, the census data that's usually released in April wasn't released until August. So we're under a super tight timeline, but the commissioners are really committed to hearing from the public. But I would say to you, if you want your comments taken, speak quickly. So the third-party sites that there are a few. There is CUNY has Redistricting in New York that allows you to play around with the the different plans, or 2 plans, like the names and the letters, and look at it and dive down into your community and see, right?
So names and letters, can you just explain what the differences are between those?
There's just 2 maps that the commission released
Okay.
as drafts. That's it, just 2 different opinions. Some states, like I can't remember if Colorado and Nevada had 11 drafts. Some state had 5, so it's just 2 different maps. And I think the commissions really wanted the public to look at different drafts and decide what their thoughts are.
So I just wanted to stop you really quick. So there's the original district map, and then there are 2 proposals of how they will change. I'm just trying, because I'm
Yeah,
trying
they're
to
drafts, and they let me put it, just to quote David Imamura, the chair, these are draft maps. They will, they should, they can, they will, and should change into the final place. They are drafts,
Okay.
right? They were actually, we held virtual summer tour, and using census data and synthesizing the comments from the summer tour, where we, did regional public hearings across the state that were not mandated by the state. The commissioners came up with the drafts. So this is just the next round, right? And the second piece I would say is that people always ask, like, how should I give comments? There are 2 websites. One is Representable and the other one is Districtor. They walk you through how to draw your community, what kind of comments you want to make about what makes your community. And I would say to you, you do not have to say that my assembly district should look like this. What you can say is, I'm in Roosevelt Island and we belong with this community or that community. And we are more connected by these things for these reasons. And that's really all you need to say, because you, as an individual or a group from a community, are an expert on your community, right? You don't have to be an expert on how would that look like and make the case. So not make it too complicated for yourself.
So the
right?
other question I had, and because I'm trying to, again, really understand. So this all comes out of the census and how districts have changed in terms of population. Is that correct?
So district lines are drawn always after the census. And I'm sorry, I was remiss. We're only dealing with state Senate, state Assembly, and Congress. City lines will be drawn in, I believe, 2023, years ending in 3. Yeah.
Okay, yes. So those are and for what it means is that whatever those changes are, they will be put in place for the next 10 years until there's another census. Is that correct? So these are some of the things that I was trying to get my brain around, because this is all kind of new to me.
Yeah.
So
it's once every 10 years. It's my first redistricting, but there are people who've been around for 5 of them, as they told me.
So potentially, what I was seeing with the district maps is they were talking about specifically Roosevelt Island's district potentially dramatically changing for each of those districts. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted somebody to come and talk about it, because we're one of the neighborhoods that potentially could be affected the most by redistricting. So that's why I kind of wanted to help people and walk them through. You're not looking at one map, you're not looking at 2 maps, you're looking at comparing 3 maps in terms of what are the ideas as far as how the congressional district 12 will change, the assembly district, I believe it's 76, and then the Senate district, and I'm not remembering that number, but it's what is currently Serrano Senate district. So yeah, so that's why I wanted to help facilitate people understanding where to go and look and how to understand what it means and what it potentially will mean for the community, because it's a 10-year change in terms of who we're dealing with politically going forward.
Thank you, Sadia. I was going to actually also put one other thing into a little cut. Oh, I can't do it. So let me send it to Sadia. You can, a couple links. Oh, my links didn't work. Bummer. Okay, sorry. I was trying to do the same. It just went in. But anyways, Yeah, no, I happy to. And what I would just say is that the commissioners, we stop public hearings next week. We are looking for comments from everybody. So don't be shy, but do it sooner rather than later, because they are going to start, their holidays coming up at the end of December. They want to get a lot of the mapping done as soon as possible, because they do have a timeline to turn it in early January. So.
Right. Okay. Thank you again so much.
No problem.
I know that you had to jump off really quick. Also, I appreciate your time and you're joining us today. Thank you so much. And hopefully this will help our community have a better understanding of, one, what the maps are, and two, the fact that we're affected, and three, they can say something about it.
Yeah, I watched the videos. I really enjoy them. I'm like a nerd about it, right? But I do think the videos help you see how different people are taking it and read the submissions from other folks. It'll give you a sense of how people are talking about it in their communities.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
No problem. Take care, guys. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, now hopefully we can go back to, I'm gonna let Carlos from the library jump on really quick with some announcements that he has, and then I will go to the REOC presentation. So if you could unmute Carlos Chavez from the Roosevelt Island Library. Carlos, can you raise your hand so they can find you?
Oh, he's unmuted.
Okay, thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, Lynn, for inviting me to this meeting. It's great to see some, familiar faces or names like Judy Birdie and Prince Shaw. As Lynn was saying, I'm the manager of the Roosevelt Island Library, which is a brand new library that opened in January of this year. And I'm going to start by going over some highlights of the services and resources that we're providing for the community. And then if possible, I would like to share my screen so that I can show you our website and the different services that are available to the community. So first, I want to start by saying that we're fully open to the community. We're back to our regular normal hours, which you will see on the website later. And that means that the community has full access to our print and media collection, as well as our desktops, laptops, iPads, Wi-Fi, and also hotspots. If you know anyone that needs a hotspot to take home so that they have access to the internet, please stop by the library. They're going out really fast, so we only have 4 left right now. So if you know anyone in the community that needs a hotspot, please send them to us. We resumed our programs, classes, events, and outreach. So we have a community room where we offer programs for children, for young adults, and for adults. Some of those programs include baby lap sit and toddler story time, a chess club for kids, book discussions, computer classes, and historical lectures that we partner with Judy Birdie on. Also, for next year, we are advocating to launch English and Spanish conversation classes and bringing back constituent hours. Also, we have one-on-one tech help with our adult librarian, Danielle Schur. So if you know anyone in the community that needs help with computers, with mobile devices, anything dealing with technology, they can come by the library or call us and schedule a one-on-one appointment with our adult librarian, Danielle Schur. Also, Anthony Amarico and Julia Hefner, our information assistants, they're offering computer classes once a week, ranging from computer basics to more advanced classes like Microsoft Office Suite or Google Suite. We're also partnering with the Youth Center, the Child School 217, the daycare centers, the Senior Center, Kohler Hospital, and the Reality Poets on various projects and programs for the community. So now I'd like to share the website. So just bear with me while I pull it up here. Okay, can everyone see our website? Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
So this is the Roosevelt Island Library website, and I'm just going to show you how you get here. It's very easy. You go to nypl.org, and you just go to locations, which is this tab up here, and then you just type the name of the library. Roosevelt, and it'll start showing up once you type Roosevelt, and then you click on it, and it will take you to our website. So click search. Okay, actually here it is. So then you click on it, Roosevelt Island Library, and this is it, our website. And you can see our address, phone number, and our hours over here, as well as our holiday closings for the remainder of this year and for 2022. And you can find us on Facebook as well as Instagram and Twitter, which we will add very soon. A big update, which is system-wide, the library is fine free now. So if patrons bring material late, a day or a week late, there's no accumulation of fines. This is to get everyone to come back to the libraries, especially during these hard times. And if you keep scrolling down, you'll see so many different resources and services that are available to the community. You can sign up to get updates about what's happening at our specific location by clicking here, get event updates. If you can't come to the library, but you would like one of our librarians to recommend some titles for you in print or digital format, you can click here on Shelf Help and fill out a very short form and include your library card number. And a librarian will take care of putting together a bundle of print books or sending you information regarding digital books that you can download. It's called Shelf Help. There's also many online classes and events across the whole system. This is the link to see what's happening at other libraries. And there's also many community support resources. If you click on this, which I'm gonna briefly show you, you will see different resources such as health and wellness, housing and tenant rights, personal finance, and food security, as well as many other resources for everyone. Just gonna go back to the main page. And if I keep scrolling down, you'll see the programs that we're having at our location. And they're divided into 3 sections: programs for kids, programs for teens, and programs for adults. And you see the link over here that says see all. So if you click on that link, it'll show you the whole list of programs for the month of November, December, and so forth. And you can see some of our programs here, such as ELA and math tutorials, which take place on Saturdays, SH, SAT tutorials, which also takes place on Saturday, computer classes like computer generated poetry, WNYC book club, which is happening virtually and in person at the library, and also the next Roosevelt Island historical lecture, which we will have in collaboration with Judy. And if you keep scrolling down, you'll see many other resources such as ebooks and audiobooks. Our 3 main apps for ebooks and audiobooks are Overdrive, Simply E, and Libby. And if you click here, you'll see the links to download those apps. And here you can see the one for Simply E, as well as other resources: Overdrive, Audiobook Cloud, and Cloud Library. Just gonna go back to the main page. And I encourage everyone and for the organizations that you work to please share this information, because there's many more resources here, such as e-materials and databases, digital collections, and so forth. The other thing I want to mention is the Interlibrary Loan Service, which is, I don't know, can you see the Interlibrary Service webpage now? Yes? Okay. So if we don't have what you're looking for, whether it's in print or media, we can get it for you from any other library in the country. And we do that through Interlibrary Loan. And you set up this account with your New York Public Library card. If you need assistance, please call us or stop by the library, and we can walk you through the steps on setting up an Interlibrary Loan account, so that when you need a particular item and we don't have it, we can get it for you from another library in another system in another state. And the last thing I wanted to say is that if you don't have a library card, please stop by the library. It just takes a minute to get it. All you need to show us is your ID and proof of address. And if you know any community members patrons that need a library card and library services, please send them our way. In the chat, I'm gonna include my full name, email address, phone number, and the links to our website and interlibrary loan. And I'm gonna stop there and see if anyone wants to ask me any questions. Thank you.
Actually, Carlos, what I'm going to do is thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it. I have another speaker that's coming that needs to leave pretty quickly. And so what I'm going to do is encourage everybody to go to the library and they can see you there. Because
Great.
we
Thank you
want
so
them
much,
to
Lynn.
go into our library and so that hopefully we'll send them there and they'll ask you any questions that they need to ask you right in our library. And I love our Roosevelt Island Library. So thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, and I'll share my information through the chat. Thank you, everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you, Carlos. And now I see that Corey Hansen from Assemblymember Seawright's office is here, and hopefully he's got a great announcement to make to us. If you can unmute him, Saida.
Hi, thanks, Lynn. Yeah, so I just wanted to give an update on the whole banking situation from last we spoke. Last time, I think I was on last month, I gave the update that there was going to be an open house that did end up taking place a few Mondays ago. All the elected officials and community activists were there on the tour. We started at the old amalgamated bank site, and then we ended up jumping on a red bus and taking a tour all the way over to the sports park. And there were 5 banking institutions that were present. And there's been a lot of interest in both sites. And we are hoping that a few of the banks that are in continuous talks with the community, with REOC, with the elected officials' offices, are going to eventually jump on one of the locations. So it is looking very promising. Talks are still ongoing. And it looks like we do have heavy interest in some of the banks that attended.
That's fantastic news, Corey. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that that a collaboration was able to happen and that we were able to show some banks what a great community Roosevelt Island is. And I'm looking forward to you making an announcement that we've got a bank here. So
yeah, hopefully very soon. Again, it's looking very, very promising, and obviously we'll keep everyone in the loop as once the decision's made.
Okay, so I don't know if you have the time to answer any questions. Did you?
Yeah, I can answer questions.
Okay, so really quick, does anybody have any questions for Corey? I'm not seeing any hand raised, so thank you, Corey. Thank you for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for being so patient. We had a lot on our agenda. I really appreciate people's patience because we didn't have a meeting last month, so there was still a lot of things going on. And so that was great news. And hopefully the next time you come and join us, you'll talk about what bank's coming.
Sounds good. If there's any other questions, just feel free to shoot me an email or give our office a call.
That sounds great. Thank you, Corey.
Sure.
And I'm going to move the agenda on, and we are going to go to Prince Shaw from the Roosevelt Island Operating Corporation. I know he had to jump off fairly quickly. So if you could unmute Prince.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Prince Shaw. I'm the Assistant Director of Capital Planning at Roosevelt Island. Thank you for inviting me to the meeting. Can everyone see the PowerPoint?
Yep.
Yep. All right. So by the way of capital updates, I have a couple of slides. I'm just gonna glance through them quickly. The first project is the South Point Park Riprap. The project is moving great. We are actually very close to the completion of the project, and we expect to open this project late fall of this year. And I'm very excited about this project, opening it back to the community, and so that the community can enjoy the views and all the hard work that our team has done. The next project is the sports park renovation. This is renovation of our sports park facility. Currently, as you'll see in the photo, MEP work is ongoing, which is the mechanical, electrical, plumbing work. They're also doing some tiling work, and we anticipate the project to be completed in summer of next year. This is another very exciting project. It's a large scale project that we're working on, and we're all very proud of where it stands now and very excited to see it open to the community next year. The next is the tram elevator project. This is within your side, on the Manhattan side of Manhattan side of the tram. And this project has been, discussed in CB8 meetings for quite a while. The last I spoke, I had mentioned that phase 1 elevator was going to be open to the public. It's now open. So we're very excited for all the feedback that we've gotten on the phase 1. A lot of very positive feedback with the size of the elevator and how smooth, it has been moving, and there has been no complaints. The phase 2 work is ongoing. We have just started the foundation work for the foundation work for the portion of the second elevator. We just demolished the old elevator, and now we're kind of continuing on. So that work is ongoing. Next is Blackwell Park. Blackwell Park pavers. This is specifically the pavers improvements around Blackwell House and the east portion or the Main Street portion of Blackwell Park. We are completed with this project. We're opening this to the community tomorrow. We are very excited. There's a fountain there that hasn't worked in many years, so we were able to make that work, able to fix all of the tripping hazards. We were able to accommodate and update a lot of the ADA issues that we've had. We were able to transform around the community spaces and make it more inviting and more kind of multifaceted use. So we're very excited about this project. It opens tomorrow, and please check out the fountain and the area around. Next is the Girl Puzzle Monument honoring Nellie Bly. This project is close to 99% complete. It's the construction itself is completed. We've launched the website. I've talked about this in the past. To get more information, please check out the website. We have really very interesting stuff on the website. We have the audio guides and whatnot, and you can really learn more about the project there. We have an opening planned in December for this project. So, as you will see, we have a lot of things planned in the next coming weeks and months that are going to open to the community. So we are super excited. And the next is the Lighthouse Tower, where we're reconstructing the tower itself. We're adding a new lantern on the top. So the current work is just working on the base for the lantern. We are expecting this project also to open to the community by the end of this year. That's all the updates I have. So I'm open for any questions that anyone has and answer them.
Do we have any questions?
I don't see any raised hands, Lynn.
Okay, thank you, Prince, for that presentation. I would like to comment. Oh, wait, Judy's got her hand up. Okay, Judy.
Sorry about that. I missed the beginning of Prince's presentation. What is the status of the East and West South Point Park, and when will they be open?
Work is close to completion, and we have targeting opening by the end of the year.
For both sides?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and the other thing that I wanted to mention to you, Prince, is that now that the girl puzzle has progressed to the point that it has, I've been noticing in the community a lot of questions about what it is, because when you listen to Meredith, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of the name of the artist. Amanda, thank you. When you listen to her talk passionately about all that's involved with that sculpture, it's so inspiring and so amazing that the more information you can get out into the community about what it is and what it means, I think would be really, really valuable, because people are seeing it and they're like, what is that? And the more you learn about it, the more beautiful the sculpture becomes, I believe. And so I can only strongly encourage you all to really get more information out about what it is, what it means, and what the sculptor tried to convey. So I just wanted to add that little piece.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, I have to give kudos to our communications team, and Amy's here. And they've been, working behind the scenes very hard on a lot of that. So you'll see a lot of that come to fruition, in the coming weeks and months. But, and when Amy's on, I'm sure she can add, a statement to that too. But yeah, I, totally agree. We're very excited. And once it's open, as you know, that there's an audio guide piece to it that really explains the project very well. And again, the website does a great job taking you through, what the actual project is and the concept. So, super excited about that. But thank you for your comment.
Oh, you're welcome. And actually, Amy, did you want to make any comments about the girl puzzle or the projects? Saida,
Thank you. Yeah, to just add to what Prince said, we've been working diligently behind the scenes, particularly with the girl puzzle, and working very closely with Amanda to make sure that all of the work and thought that she put behind this beautiful monument and that story is told in a really beautiful way. So we're working very hard on that, and the community will see that very shortly.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Any questions? Okay, so I'm going to move the agenda on to the very patient Anthony Amoroso, who is our officer in public safety. If you can unmute Anthony.
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. I'm deputy. I'm the deputy chief of those of you that don't know who I am. I'm the deputy chief of public safety, and Chief Brown wishes he could have been here tonight. And again, I mentioned it earlier. He had a family situation at home, so he couldn't be here tonight. So the two things that were on the agenda tonight was homeless, and I know I'd like to thank the two people from Homeless Services that came on and explained about how the community can get in touch or help out the homeless people on the island. I like to say that our public safety officers, we take the homeless situation on the island very seriously. We feel that the being homeless is something that is a very unfortunate situation for anyone. And our officers are always asking anybody that is homeless that comes, most of the time they're coming out of the subway. Anything that's below the subway, the transit police department will handle, and they'll offer homeless services or medical attention to those people. A lot of people will say, there's two homeless people sleeping down in the subway. That's really not our public safety's jurisdiction. The only thing that we can do in that situation is call the transit police, and they're pretty on top of any kind of homeless situation down there. Just so everyone knows that there are two transit officers that are assigned to the platforms at all times. One on the northbound and one on the southbound. Sorry about that, guys. So as far as them being out on the street or on a park bench or wherever you might see them, anytime our officers do see a homeless person, we try to encourage them to seek services, or we offer them medical attention. A lot of times they don't want the services, but they'll take the medical attention. It is their right, though, to deny medical attention or services, and that's their right. And if they're not committing any crimes, we try to just accommodate them to the best that we can. Now that it's getting colder, and we will go into that code blue, which is over a certain temperature, we mandate that if they don't want homeless services, we will call them an ambulance, because we don't want anybody to, freeze out there and get sick. So I think we're pretty much on top of it. I don't really feel we have a lot of homeless on the island. We do have our share, but we try to treat them, with all the dignity that we can, and offer them as much as that we can as a public safety department. That's really how we're addressing the homeless situation. Last night we had a town hall, and we discussed traffic on the island. I know it's been a big concern. Chief Brown, he spoke. His number one priority is the safety of everybody on the island, the motorists, the pedestrians, animals. Safety is the primary issue. We have had a couple of incidents which have sparked some immediate changes that we've made. We discussed them last night at the town hall. Some of the things that we're doing for the safety of the community is we're really policing motorized vehicles, e-bikes and e-scooters on the east and west seawalls, where there are signs up there that says no motorized vehicles. We just ordered another bunch of signs to be even more specific, because we listened to the community saying motorized vehicles isn't enough. We'd like them to say exactly what kind of vehicle. So there's going to be signs that say no e-bikes, no e-scooters, and no motorized vehicles. Those are on order. Ordering supplies, countrywide has been difficult, so we're a little bit on backlog with that. We're hoping to have them within the next 3 weeks. About 2 weeks ago, they had told us 30 days, but they're running a little bit behind. We have an officer assigned to the promenade to make sure that there is no driving on those seawalls. Emergency vehicles are permitted and deliveries are permitted, and we have them accompanied by a public safety officer. We're just trying to make sure that, we're educating people on it so that they don't drive, they don't use, even not everyone's getting summonses. Some people that don't know about it, we're trying to educate them. We're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, especially delivery people that might come onto the island that haven't been here before and they are on an e-scooter. We'll stop them. We'll explain to them the rules and procedures, and we'll have discretion when we can. We're trying to get it out to everybody. There were flyers that were handed out, and that's how we're handling the traffic conditions on the seawalls. As far as on Main Street, we're taking that very, very seriously in light of the incident that happened by the school. We have 2 crossing guards. We have one that has been hired. We're seeking another crossing guard, to be there for the school. Until then, our PSD officer is doing the crossing duties. We have PSD officers out there in the crosswalks. During the school hours, we're making sure that they're in communications with the school safety people that are inside the school, so that any events that we know about, so that we can just keep everything really safe for them. Not just in the school, in the crosswalks, but on Main Street in general, for not only the children, but everyone else that's coming by the school or driving up and down the road. There's been concerns of vehicles moving quickly on the road. So there's 2 things that are immediately being done. We're putting the radar signs out so people understand how fast they're going. The speed limit on Main Street is 15 miles an hour. I think that those radar signs that were down by Kohler Hospital and also down by the college, I think that when people see how fast they're going, it alerts them to what they're doing. It slows them down. It's a deterrent from moving fast. We're going to be strategically putting them on Main Street so that people know how fast they're going. The other thing that we're doing is we're moving forward with speed humps. Speed humps are going to be put throughout Main Street. They're going to be put throughout the island, just to keep people at a safe speed and make it safe for everyone. The speed humps are something that we are going to use professionals to have strategically putting them down in the right places. The advice of the professionals and how we're putting them down, and we can always revisit it for a long-term plan. There is a long-term plan for traffic safety on the island. They're doing a traffic safety study, and it's a bigger plan that's going to take a little bit of time, but we are definitely moving forward with immediate response to the community and to the safety of everybody. So we discussed this last night at the town hall. We discussed this at the PSD public safety meeting. These are things that we're moving forward with, and we take it very seriously for everybody. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be glad to.
Well, I want to comment, and then I'll go to Judy's question, but I think that people are very happy to see that you got a crossing guard in place so quickly in front of the school. Many years ago, there had been a crossing guard. I'm not sure when that dynamic changed, but I know that people really appreciate the fact that there are now crossing guards watching the kids and helping facilitate making our children a little bit safer. So I think Judy had her hand up next, and I'm gonna just, we've had a lot on the agenda. So if you want to ask a couple quick questions, I'll go to Judy and then Sharon. If you can unmute Judy, please.
You're all set.
Okay. As far as I know, speed humps and bumps are illegal in New York City. How are we going to make them legal? And how can you put a hump and a bump under a zebra surface? If you read the city rules, you can't have speed humps and bumps. So
Judy, I'd just like to, there is a difference between the humps and speed bumps, and speed humps are legal in New York City, and our legal department has, you know, we looked into Frank's concerns. He sent me an email. I've been in conversation with him. It was sent to our legal department, and they looked into it, and we're moving forward with the advice of professionals on where they should be laid and how they should be laid. As far as exactly the construction of them, it's not something that I really could answer to. I'd have to get, you know, back to you. We'd have to speak to you know, the people that are going to be laying them, and as far as the planning departments and how we're going to put them in, but they are illegal. And if you look throughout the city, they're pretty much everywhere. But there's a difference between humps and bumps, and speed humps are illegal in the city.
Okay, I'd like to go to Sharon now then, Saida. Thank you for that.
Thank you. So I just want to know your correct title. Is it Sergeant Amoroso or?
I'm the Deputy Chief of Public Safety.
Okay. Deputy Chief of Public Safety Amoroso. I just wanted you to know that overall, I have found public safety to be absolutely exceptional.
Thank you.
Roosevelt Island has often had really, really solid public safety professionals. And you know what? Along the way, I know that there have been some complaints about public safety, but from my vantage point, I think you folks do a really fantastic job. And I wanted to point out a couple of things. Thank you very much for your approach to the homeless. I don't think that poverty should be criminalized. And approaching the homeless humanely, and the steps that public safety is taking is very, very helpful. With that said, I do want you to know that I am a little bit concerned for my own personal safety and the safety of our neighbors on Roosevelt Island. I've been very surprised about the number of homeless people who have been attracted to Roosevelt Island, and I'm really conflicted because I want Roosevelt Island to continue to be a welcoming community. I certainly don't want poverty to be criminalized, and most importantly, I want people to be able to exercise their rights. And if they refuse services or housing or health services, certainly that is their right. But I do have some concerns about my personal safety and the safety of the community as a whole. And so whatever you guys are doing, just please continue to do it. And just to follow up on Judy's point, because you know, there are often times when almost every idea has been done. And I have to tell you, putting speed bumps or humps, especially on Main Street, certainly has been done before. And I am a fan, though, of seeing a old idea reimagined. But I want to tell you what the issue was with the humps or the bumps. I don't know what they're called. But what happens is that when trucks go over them, the load inside the trucks goes up and it comes down. And so, and on Main Street, the sound of that happening is just exponential. And so I just wanted to share with you that experience, because oftentimes these trucks, whether they're going to Cornell or going someplace else, they have to ride down Main Street. And that's just something to keep in mind as you move forward with the idea. I'm not suggesting not to do the idea. I just wanted to bring to you and mention a concern with that idea, because it just becomes extremely noisy in that corridor with the load bouncing up and down. I mean, it's not just the load, it's also the body of the truck. And so it becomes exponential, if you will. The last thing that I wanted to mention is, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I actually thought that where pedal bikes could go, it's illegal to prevent electric bikes. Can you talk about that a little bit? That's what I thought. So I have to assume that RIAC has had its law department take a look at that, and so maybe that's something that you might be able to, some information about that you might be able to share with us. But thank you so much for all of the, under Chief Brown and yourself, thank you so much for everything that you're doing for our community and all of the men and women who work for public safety.
I really do appreciate your kind words to my department and to the young adults that serve in the community, because I think they're doing a great job, and I think that they give 1,000%. I really appreciate the kind words, and I know Chief Brown would too, and all of RIAC. As far as any motorized vehicle, whenever it comes to safety issues, if we feel, as far as traffic conditions are concerned, and we want to actually limit the kind of vehicles that go on certain roadways, we have that right if it's a public safety issue. And we feel that the e-bikes and the e-scooters just are moving too quickly, on the seawalls, and we feel that someone, it's bound for someone to get hurt, and we need to limit that. Myself and Chief Brown have been out there. We've been, watching the bicycles on them, and some bicycles get pretty quick, but those e-bikes get really fast, and they tend to really make it a dangerous situation. And that's why we're limiting all motor vehicles of any form or fashion to those seawalls. The seawalls were originally for emergency vehicles and deliveries, and it's something that we're enforcing. We're going to make sure that those are restricted to emergency vehicles and deliveries, and those deliveries will be monitored as best as PSD can do. That I can promise you guys.
So what I'd like to comment really briefly on, again, is how much we appreciate that you got the crossing guard in there. We're looking forward to the additional crossing guard. I've heard a lot of different comments on the speed bumps. I think that there's a lot of different opinions about that. I personally think that it's something that will help facilitate slowing the traffic down. And to what Sharon said, I think it's those trucks that are trying to go over the speed bumps too quickly that make all that noise that she's finding so offensive. So hopefully we'll be able to just generally slow the traffic down in such a way that it doesn't become problematic for people in the corridor. And then the last thing I wanted to say about the speed bumps, or whatever we would like to call them, the slowing down street.
Listen, I've gotten a lot of education in this also. I didn't know there was a difference between a hump and a bump. But supposedly the speed bumps are used in garages and things like that. And you see them, a lot of the speed humps, it's a gradual slow down. And it's usually asphalt or some other materials so that you don't get that sudden jerking of.
So I was able last night to listen to the town hall. And what I would like to say is I heard some, what I thought I heard was some people who are bikers who were complaining about how the speed bumps would be unsafe for them. I did reach out today to somebody that I consider an authority on New York City biking. And what they said to me is if they're traveling at a reasonable speed, a speed bump is not unsafe for bikers. So even slowing bikers down, I don't think is a bad thing. So, so I did want to say that too.
That's a problem for us on Main Street also. People stopping at the traffic signals on bicycles, and a lot of education. You know, the chief is all about education. I'm all about training, not just our offices, but also the community. And a lot of people that we stop, you know, they really didn't know that they have to stop at the stop signs, and they really didn't know that they have to obey all the traffic signals that a vehicle has to obey. You know, so just educating them. We must have handed out thousands of flyers with bicycle education, you know, over the last 6 months to a year. I mean, we've been doing that for a while, and people are learning that, hey, you know what, you know, on this island, we're going to make sure that you stop at the stop signs. We're going to make sure that you go the right way. You know,
so I do have a question for you in terms of the citations, because I thought I heard that you've been handing out a lot of citations relevant to traffic. What does that actually mean? Is that a ticket that they have to go someplace and pay, or how does that work?
Our summons, our offices are special patrol offices through the NYPD. So the same summons that an NYPD officer is what, because our officers are peace officers and they get their special patrol status through the NYPD. So when they make an arrest or they write a summons, it's the same summons that you would get on Park Avenue or on Vernon Boulevard. It's the same tickets, Department of Traffic. It's the same summons. They have to go to court. They can fight it. They can, you know, pay it. But it's the same summonses that we write. It's the same that NYPD write and DOT writes. So, you know, that's, you know, we do write a lot of summonses here. You know, a lot. People are surprised when the chief gave the numbers yesterday. I was actually. We read a lot of summonses, and you know, some people are happy with that. Some people say we write too many summonses. So we try to, you know, we try to keep it safe. That's the goal. You know, discretion is part of every office's decision making when they're out there for summonses. We try to keep it safe.
Okay, I think Sid, I think Judy has her hand up. If you could unmute Judy.
Okay, two things. I was thrilled to see a fresh direct truck with a big fat summons on it the other day, parked right in the bus stop in front of the chapel. Shame, shame, shame. And I know the trucks have to deliver, but this is out of control. Secondly, recently I was working a lot of early morning hours. The commercial garbage trucks that come down to service Southtown, and I presume around Cornell. They go flying down Main Street. They do not stop at all. And I can guarantee you, if you have an officer out between 4 and 5:30 in the morning, they will catch these guys. I've been seeing them. They don't stop for anything. They drive at least 40 miles an hour. And with the garbage truck, as Ms. Pope said, rattling all the way. And I know they make their round because they come back about 10 minutes later and they're flying up the street. They have no regard at all for any traffic safety. And heaven forbid some poor person is in a crosswalk, they're going to become pancakes. And it's always early morning. It's early, very, 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 very early in the morning. And I wish you would convince our leaders to repave Main Street. When you drive in a car, our Main Street is collapsing. The area between Blackwell House and the school, which is Z-Brick, is absolutely a holy mess. Sit in a regular car. You don't really feel it that much in the bus. Sit in a regular car. It's an obstacle course and it's full of ruts and it's treacherous to cars. I don't know how many transmissions have been broken on Main Street.
Judy, Amy's here with us now, and I'll have Amy, I'm sure she'll note that and she'll pass it to the proper department so that we can address that. As far as the garbage trucks are concerned, I'll pay special attention to that at that time in the morning. And I think the speed humps will be a really good solution for those garbage trucks. So I think that will benefit or reduce that as well as my offices.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Deputy Chief, I really, really appreciate you coming. I appreciate that we were able to have a town hall this week discussing the traffic incidences. And I think that in the time that I've lived on Roosevelt Island, we've had very few traffic incidences over a long period of time. And to have so many in such a short period of time, I appreciate that you all addressed both the issues on the promenade, the issues with children, and making sure that they were now being kept safe, and that you're addressing slowing down traffic. I know some Roosevelt Islanders would love to see Roosevelt Island have no traffic and have cars be dramatically limited in terms of what can come onto the island. I don't believe that that's actually a good solution, but finding the right solution is going to be a challenge moving forward. But we appreciate that you all are addressing it the way that you are.
Thank you very much.
And so any other questions?
No other raised hands.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Chief, for joining us.
Thank you.
I just want to tell you, I felt that your area would have probably the most questions for tonight. So I appreciate your patience and getting through some of the other things that we needed to talk about, because I wanted to make sure that people had time to ask you questions, because safety really needs attention. And so definitely appreciated that you waited so patiently and
not an issue, not a problem. And we are all about safety, and we're very open-minded with community policing, and we're listening to the community, and we're doing our research, and we're trying to create short-term goals and long-term goals and solutions that work, try to make everyone as happy and especially as safe as possible. And that's really what we need to do.
So I'm going to have you hang on one more second. Saida, I see a raised hand. If you could unmute them.
Yes, can you confirm your name for the record?
It's Lydia Tong.
Thank you.
And so my question for Deputy Chief Amoroso is, I just read a posting on social media about the stabbing that was near the subway. Is that jurisdiction of public safety, or was that the subway police?
That's the transit police department. And,
okay.
That's something with the transit police department.
Okay, so you don't know any other details or?
No, I don't have anything in front of me, but I know it was, that's the transit's jurisdiction, transit police jurisdiction.
So it was specifically inside the subway and never really made it outside the subway?
Yeah, like I said, I really don't know the specifics on it, but if it was
Okay.
outside the subway, I would have known the specifics because PSD would have been involved with it. But I don't know, I don't recall it being up on top land.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you so much. And we really appreciate you coming. I just wanted to go again to Amy and see if there was anything you'd like to add, Amy, while you're here.
Confirm unmuting. Yeah.
The one thing that I did forget to mention about the girl puzzle is we did place a mention in the New York Times that ran on Monday and Tuesday. So check that out.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to move the agenda forward, and actually under old business, I don't believe there's any new business, but under old business, we have found out this week that the current CEO of Kohler Hospital is retiring. And so we're looking forward to helping to facilitate the residents of Kohler having an impact on who his successor may be. And so that will be part of moving forward with the Kohler Task Force. And I'm under the understanding, and it looks like she's jumped off, that Judy is involved in that selection process. I was hoping she could weigh in on that. But I definitely will probably have more information at our December meeting about what's currently happening at Kohler Hospital. That concludes my agenda. I appreciate everyone who was able to join us this evening. We had some really informative and great information for this community, and I appreciate those who came and gave us some information about districting, homeless, and the current public safety key issues. And I always appreciate the REOX capital projects presentations. They're very, very helpful. And I also appreciate what our electeds are doing in terms of taking very seriously the need for a bank on Roosevelt Island. So at this point, I'd like to thank everybody again for joining, and also wish everyone a very, very happy Thanksgiving, and have a great Thanksgiving holiday. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lynn.